Hello again. It's the Beardy from the Beardy and the Baldy channel, bringing you a much delayed number 8 in my top 13 movie countdown. Today we're going to go back a couple years to, was it 2010? I can't remember when this movie came out now all of a sudden. I think it was 2010. I'm going to go with 2010. See if I can. Yeah, 2010. Okay. Um, and I can't remember all the details of seeing this. I know I saw it with my friend Steve when I was living in Joliet, Chicago area, and he and I went to see this, and we're kind of both blown away by this movie. So my top 13 movie countdown, movie number 8 is Christopher Nolan's movie Inception. Kind of show off. I think this was a pretty cool steelbook. Um, yeah, Inception is It's a crazy movie. It's got a huge cast. Leonardo DiCaprio, Ken Watanabe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Tom Berenger, Michael Caine. I mean, it's chock full of some of the best acting talent out there, and it is, in my opinion, it's one of the most beautifully directed. It's got amazing cinematography. Um, it's just impressive on so many levels. I mean, the acting is great, the directing is great, the music, Hans Zimmer's score on this is fantastic. It's just, it's everything you want in a crazy kind of psychological thriller. And I don't know how else to describe Inception. It is definitely my favorite of the Christopher Nolan movies by far. Um, it's really crazy because you never get. Uh, it's one of these movies where they leave it open ended, kind of like what was that old story? Is it the Princess and the Tiger, or the Lady and the Woman and the Tiger? I can't remember what it's called. Where a guy's in the character's kind of in the middle of this kind of arena, and there's two doors. Behind one door is a princess, behind the other door is a tiger, and he chooses a door, and you don't know what comes out. This movie kind of ends the same way. It's this movie. If you have not seen it, definitely don't watch the rest of this review. I don't really know how to review this movie without giving stuff away, other than saying how amazing it is. Um, it's they they don't really explain how the science of what they do in this movie works, as far as there's some sort of device that people hook up to each other, and they all kind of tap into their veins, and they share dreams. So someone creates the dream world in their mind, and the other people can enter that dream and interact with. They'll bring a client or a target into this dream world, and try to get information out of them. Find out what's in a safe. Basically, they try to hack you through your subconscious in dream state, and it's just a really fascinating concept. Again, they don't really do a lot to. I think they mentioned something about like military we're investigating, and I love that they don't spend too much of the movie trying to explain the where, the how, and the why these things came to be. It's just the part of this world, and that's what the characters are following her into. And it starts off in one of the dreams within it. Actually, is it a dream within the dream? So they start getting these like dreams within dreams and layers, and what is reality. And it's an action movie, but then there's these deep psychological questions about what is real, what do we allow our minds to accept as real. And if we lose someone, do we ever let go? Or it's really interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, and I've seen it at least a dozen times, and there's always something new to look for. Every time I watch it, I try to focus on some different aspects of it, and it's been a while since I've watched it, so this time I was really trying to pay attention to the character of Maul, who is played by Marion Cotillard, who is in the movie is Leonardo DiCaprio character's Dom. Dominic Cobb. It's his wife. And she's kind of a tragic character in this movie, and it takes a while. I won't spoil all the things of what that is, but she's got a very dark tale in this story, but also a very hopeful tale in this story. So it's kind of twofold. But I was really trying to pay attention anytime they talked to her or referenced her, showed things with her in it, and tried to line up different things. And again, I haven't come out figuring anything out different than I ever have. I know the way the movie ends, I'm generally a kind of hopeful, optimistic person, so I take it as one way. I know the director has never flat out said what he thought it was and what he intended. He kind of gave a little hint, but it was more of just kind of again, that was even still kind of open-ended. So these characters, you've got Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's got a team. So you go into their dream, but someone else designs it as the architect, and that's where Joseph Gordon-Levitt comes in. He's kind of the right-hand man. And then you got this other guy that Tom Hardy plays. I can't remember his name. Eames? Yeah, so Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Arthur. Eames is played by Tom Hardy, and they, he's about forgeries, he kind of he studies people in other people's dreams and then is able to impersonate them. Again, they never really explain how. He just does it. That's his skill set in this world, and he does forgeries and counterfeit stuff in the real world. So he's about duplicating and replicating. Arthur is kind of he's kind of the demolition man. He's kind of keeping everything on track. He's kind of the guard. I don't know. I'm not trying to use a sports reference, but if Leonardo is the guy who's kind of the leader, Arthur kind of feels like the reconnaissance. He's kind of the one doing the research or studying and figuring things out, and he does a lot of the heavy lifting as far as once people are in the dreams. And then they enlist the help of Ariadne, which I keep forgetting to look up to see if that name has any sort of mythological meanings or connections to dreamers and that sort of thing. I keep meaning to do that, and until right now I totally forgot I was going to do that. But she comes in because she needs to design mazes and puzzles within the dreams to help, because Leonardo DiCaprio can't do it anymore because his subconscious constantly attacks him. And part of that is because of a portion of his subconscious is how he remembers his wife or thinks about his wife, and that constantly becomes hostile towards him, which breaks everything down. So it's much more elegant and poetically and beautifully explained in the movie. But so these people are trying to figure these things out. It's the basic thing is they need to actually, Inception comes from the idea of implanting an idea in someone's head. And in the movie they use the line of, as they're trying to explain it to the person trying to get them to do the inception, the person that's hiring them is like, all right, here's the thing. I tell you not to think about elephants. What are you thinking about? And they of course reply, well, I'm thinking about elephants. But they say, but in this dream and what they do, that for pure, genuine inception, the idea has to come from the person who's thinking it, not the person who's planting the idea. So they have to figure out a way to manipulate this person's subconscious on such a level that they feel they come to this decision on their own, because it has to be a genuine thing in order for what they're trying to do to pay off. And the end result is Cobb wants to go home. Leonardo DiCaprio's character wants to go back to the United States. He's wanted and he can't go home. And again, without spoiling everything about it, I don't want to tell you why it is, but he's trying to get home. He's trying to see his kids, and he can't. And if he pulls this job off, the person who has hired him is rich enough that he can make all his problems go away. So, or at least that's the way they set it up in the movie and everything. And it's just really cool because as you get into the dreams, they go 2 and even 3 layers into dreams, and it's really interesting the way it explains time and what they call limbos, kind of getting lost in your own subconscious. And you see these things where Ariadne, she's learning how to use the world and change things, and she's making the buildings collapse and like fold in on each other, and it's very kind of an MC Escher style things, and it's just really neat and visually impressive. And again, the acting on it is fantastic. The sound effects, the sound mixing, the production, it's a fantastic movie. And it's up there. The reason it's so high up in my list is just because, like I said, every time I watch it, I'm looking for something new. I'm always seeing new things. It's always making me think about different things. And here we are, almost 6.5 years since it initially came out, and it's still something that constantly gets me to think about it and try to look for different things every time I watch it, and little nuances and performances. And like I said, it is a stellar cast. There's some sequences there where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is doing some crazy stuff, and it's things that you've now seen. There's kind of a similarity or echoes to this in even Doctor Strange, the way geography is kind of bending and folding, and the way people are moving on it. It's a little more action hero, superhero in Doctor Strange, but there's some similar aspects, some things that I can't help but think that they borrowed from Inception, or were at least inspired by what they saw in Inception. And I mean, there's some good humor in it too. It's not necessarily a funny movie, but there's some pretty good moments of humor and laughter and stuff. But yeah, if you have not watched it, I really recommend checking out Inception. It's intense. Watch it on as big a screen as you possibly can with a good sound system, because it's a very immersive. I feel watching it at home, even though I don't have a very big TV, but it's a nice TV and a decent surround sound. It doesn't quite get me back to where I was when I saw it in the theater, and it's really impressive. So like I said, watch it on as big and a screen you can, and with the best sound system you can, and really enjoy it. And again, even without that, you can enjoy the performances and the acting, but there's just something so overpowering about the way it was filmed and the sound. So you don't need to have it blasting, but have good surround sound going if you can. But anyway, number 8 in my top 13 countdown is Inception. Hopefully I'll be able to do number 7 tomorrow morning before I go to work and get that uploaded, so I can get back on track with these and finish these up before the end of the year. So that's it for Beardy's top 13 movie countdown, number 8, Inception. We'll see you next time.